What's up, everybody? It's your boy French Cooking. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to How to Make Beats for Free. Since this is the 30th milestone episode of How to Make Beats for Free, I figured I would honor the DAW that got me here in the first place, and that's MPC Beats. You heard me say it time and time again, you don't need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on all these fancy plugins and VSTs to make good music. And I'm gonna prove that today by making a beat solely with the instruments and the sounds that are available to me through MPC Beats Library. I'm also gonna use as many as the built-in AKAI effects as I can, which should be interesting because I hardly ever use them, but there's no reason not to. I mean, technically they supply everything that you need. I'll use Air Music effects as well because they're owned by InMusic, which also owns AKAI. So that counts, and plus a whole bunch of them came with my MPK mini controller for the free ski. Now this video is for the MPC users out there, but if you use any other DAW, stick around anyway because I'm going to be sampling from a Japanese movie made in the 60s. So hopefully you'll like it and maybe you'll even learn something along the way. When I first started producing, I was pretty reluctant to use samples just in case I wanted to maybe sell the beat in the future, so I would be all clear to do so. But squash that. Sampling is a really important skill to have and to practice all the time. Plus, it's a really great way to use your creativity and figure out how the chops fit together like pieces to a puzzle. This is the movie I was talking about, Yojimbo. I pulled up the theme song on YouTube. I'm just gonna scrub through it so there's no issues with copyrights or anything like that. I watched this movie a few days ago, great movie, and I heard that part specifically in the intro music and automatically clicked in my head like this would be a perfect boom bap beat for like Biggie back in the 90s. So I'm going to try to do my best to chop it up and see what we get. But let me start with the drums first. And like I said, I'm going to be using samples from the MPC library only. And the way I do that is I go over here on the right under filter, I can select sample. And this is going to pull up all the songs that are available, all the sounds that are available in the library. And then you can filter by genre, or what I'm going to do is filter by instrument. So first thing I'm going to do is look for a kick. I select kick, and all the kicks are going to pop up here on the bottom menu. And as you can tell, there's a whole bunch of them. So it should have what you're looking for, especially if you're making sampled boom bap music. So I got my kick, my snare, hi-hat, open hat, a Vox vocal effect, a little shaky shake, and like a tom fill. Very basic boom bap drum pattern here. I have my hat panned a little bit to the left, and I also, if I zoom in real close here, you can see I pulled some of them off grid to give it more of a natural feel. And then I have this perk pan to the right, so you're really filling in that width. As far as effects go, I have the Air Reverb plugin to give it a little bit more space. I have the Air Compression to glue everything together. And I cheated a little bit. I put on some OCS 45 cassette simulation to make it a little bit more gritty, but you know, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Hello, this is editor French Cooking, aka French Editing, and I forgot one important thing. I added 3 effects to the kick because I didn't like how it sounded originally. This is what it sounds like without the effects. So it's pretty weak. So what I did is I added a transient shaper from AKAI, and what this will do will add some more punch or attack to the kick. I added some distortion, again, an AKAI plugin. Turn the dry wet knob down to 28, and what this does is it adds, well, distortion, fuzz distortion to be exact. So another way of saying it is it makes it a little bit grittier. And finally, I added the vintage compressor. So this is, again, reminding you what it sounds like without it. Pretty weak. And then you turn everything on. Way better. More boom bap, more vintage. And yeah. Okay, back to the video. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Why do I sound like Donald Trump now? So I went ahead and extracted a few sections that I liked from the Japanese movie sample. And the way that you chop up your sample depends on a few things. Okay, so personal preference, the type of beat that you're making, the type of sample that you're working with, etc. In this case, you hear that little like kalimba or that block sound. I want to layer that with my snare. So that's what's going to dictate how I do my chops. Now, you can chop it by transient or you can chop it by region, which normally would be fine because there's 8 beats in this sequence. But this is a movie score made with live instruments in the 60s. So I know everything's not going to be perfectly on grid. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop it manually. So here it is. Remember what I was saying before? I wanted those blocks to be layered on top of my snare. So this is the first chop, and then the second chop is where the snare is going to happen. So, right, third chop, fourth chop. I also chopped up this part, which I'm going to use like as a beat switch up at some point in the beat. And I'm also probably going to find some accents and some ear candy throughout the sample just to throw in different places and make it a little bit more interesting for the listener to listen to. Here's the final pattern of my main melody. All the pieces to the puzzle have been put together. Let me play it right now. Now, originally I had it like this, where these were down here, and these little micro chops here were not present, and this is what it sounded like. Still kind of cool, but I felt like it got a little bit repetitive, so I pulled, let me just undo it, pulled these up to this sound, and I added these micro chops for a little bit of variation. I just find like it sounds a little bit better that way. For effects, I have Cymatics Origin to give it like a vinyl sound. I put a tiny bit of OTT compression on it just to tame those peaks because like I was mentioning earlier, these are live instruments for a movie that was made in the 60s. So it's not going to sound perfectly the way that I want it. This helps. And then I use something that I've never used before, the AKAI resampler. So let me show you what it sounds like without the effects. Then I'm going to turn everything else on except the resampler. Still sounds a bit off to me, so with the resampler, just way better. I'm going to turn it off. It's got kind of like that tinny, like tin can sound to it, so the resampler, in my opinion, is helping with that. For the counter melody, or I guess it's more of a switch up, this was a lot more simple. It's just 4 chops in a row. And I have the same effects as before, except I threw on the AKAI delay sync on top of that as well. Here is the little ear candy I pulled from different parts of the sample. So, I don't know, I'm going to figure out when I'm arranging where to put those little pieces. Ooh, sub bass. Is there a sub bass in this library? Yes, sir! You know what? I don't think I need to add anything else to this beat. I feel like if I'm creative enough with my chops and my arrangement, I can make this beat sound interesting without too many bells and whistles. The more creative you manage to be, the less you have to rely on the tool that you're using. MPC Beats has been great for me over the years. That's why I really decided to start this channel, so I hope you can find inspiration from it as well. Thank you for riding with me for these 30 episodes. There's still a lot more to come. As always, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, just let me know and I'll answer you. If not, just keep watching, keep liking the videos like you've been doing, and I'll have another one waiting for you next week. But until then, never forget to keep producing, baby.
stop all the snitches from staying in my business. What is this? Relentless approach to know if I'm broke or not. Just cause I joke and smoke a lot don't mean I don't tote the Glock. 16 shots for my niggas in the pen until we motherfucking meet again. I'm doing rhymes now, fuck the crimes now. Come on the app, I'm real hard to find now, cause I'm knee deep in the beats. In the Land Cruiser Jeep with the Mac 10 by the seats. For the jackers, the jealous ass crackers in the blue suits, I make you prove that it's bulletproof. Hold your head, cause when you hit the bricks, I got gin, mad blunts, and bitches sucking dick, the funk, baby.